Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose to Challenge. I am LaWanna Bradford, and it is so exciting to be here with my E360 TV audience, as well as those who happen to be following us on LinkedIn and Facebook. Welcome, welcome. It is Women's History Month. And one of the things on Choose to Challenge is our focus is to challenge norms, mindsets, systems, institutions, anything that's preventing you from elevating and expanding to your best and highest self. And I have a very special guest joining me today, none other than Pastor Tammy Meredith. How's it going, Pastor?
It's going well. Thank you so much, LaWanna. It's going well, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, I want to tell the audience a little bit about you for those of you who do not know this dynamic woman. She is a speaker, an entrepreneur, a pastor, a relationship coach, and a spiritual fitness coach. And we're going to unpackage the spiritual fitness side because the one thing that the Bible tells us is, beloved, I hope above all things that you be in good health and prosper, even as your soul prospers. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. And some of you may say, wait a minute, LaWanna, Pastor, you're quoting the Bible. I'm not a Christian. That's okay, because what we're here to talk about applies to you no matter what your faith and or belief is. If you're looking to get better, it first starts with having a centered focus. Is that right, Tammy? Pastor Tammy?
Yes, I completely agree with you.
I want to ask you, when we talk about spiritual fitness, why is that so important to you? And when did you uncover the need to have spiritual fitness in your life?
Okay, it's very important to me because I've transformed. There's been a transformation through the spiritual fitness that I've gone through. So I've walked this walk and I've lived it. I was in a place, in my life, and I thought everything was well. I am, my husband's a pastor, and we pastor a church in Conyers, Georgia. And it's been for 20 years. And, I've been doing the day-to-day, empowering women, and giving to women and helping women develop and be their best selves, not realizing that I was lacking in some areas of my life. Okay. And it's one thing you said, I remember you saying when I met you, just be honest with yourself, and be honest. And there was one day I had to take a look in the mirror and I had to be honest with myself. And I realized there was some things that I needed to work out. I was working so much for everyone else, but I need to pay attention to myself. And I needed the spiritual fitness for me. I've worked out before, in the gym with my physical body, but I needed the spiritual fitness. Not that I didn't know the word, not that I didn't believe or have faith, but it was more than I needed. There was something in me that was screaming out that you need more, because if you don't get more, then you're going to continue to suffer silently. Okay. And I felt that I was suffering silently. So anyway, so that's when I decided to do the spiritual fitness. I prayed, I asked God, give me, what the spiritual fitness really is. And he didn't give it to me all the way, but as I began to walk and open myself up and be receptive to what he wanted me to see, and I began to walk in that pathway, of spiritual fitness. And there was an awakening that took place once I started, and I haven't turned back since. And ever since I've been on fire, and I've been wanting to help other women, an awakening to take place, to figure out what their purpose is, figure out who they are, and figure out their gifts.
I like you used two words. For the first you said was it's been transformational.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also said, well, actually it's three words, transformational, but then you said you were suffering in silence.
Mm-hmm.
And Pastor Tammy, I find so many women are right there.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what culture, background that they're from, we as women feel like we have to be everything for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And we go through, we want the world to see our strength, right? We talk about, I'm Superwoman, I'm Wonder Woman, and we strike the pose.
Yes.
But then we go home and we're crying ourselves to sleep in our pillows. How what word of encouragement can you give to those women, and how can they rise up from that suffering? And I know that's a lot to unpackage in this short period of time, but if there's just one thing you could say to that woman who's just really struggling right now.
Okay. I would say that I believe that there's more for you. I believe that there's a time in your life, in everyone's life, where you got to say there's more to life than this. I don't believe that we were born or we were created to suffer, and not only that, but just to suffer silently. I believe that we can't be any good to anyone else unless, or show up, in a way that we need to, unless we love ourselves. Loving ourselves is really paying attention to our feelings, paying attention to the things that's causing the issues, that's causing the hurt, the suffering, paying attention to our needs. I think that's so important that we pay attention to our needs. And again, we just we speak about it, not just to a therapist or a counselor, but we get in the mirror, and we look deep in and we dive deep in to see exactly, what's causing the suffering and making a decision that I don't want to suffer anymore. I believe that there's so much more to life than this. And why I say this, because I don't know where you are, but if you are going through something silently, if you're suffering silently, I promise you there's more to life. God wishes above all that we should prosper, and be in good health, but he also desires, that we live our best life. I believe that he came that we may have life and have it more abundantly. And if we're not living in our abundance, and we can't possibly be living in our abundance if we're suffering silently, that thing will just smother you. And all of a sudden you have a heavy spirit and you don't know why you have a heavy spirit. And you're trying to pour into others. You're trying to love your family. You're trying to love your friends. You're trying to be good at what you do, show up for work or your career, or your business, but if you're suffering, you never show up at your best. There will always be something lacking. And, it's a tragedy, I believe, to live this life, a whole life, and having suffered, not getting help. So I encourage you, to dig deep in, be honest with yourself. It first takes honesty, where you're honest with yourself. You take off the mask, and you're honest with yourself, and you deal with the hurt, the pain. You deal with your past. Sometimes it's a little girl within. Sometimes things happened years ago, and you speak to that little girl, and you should want that little girl to rise up, and not just survive, but thrive. I believe we survive, and we've gotten so comfortable, with surviving, and wearing a mask. But I don't think we were created to just survive. I think we were created to thrive, and you can't thrive if you're suffering. So I believe it starts with just being honest with yourself and paying attention to what's going on within you, and then making the proper steps to move forward. I believe that small shifts can have massive success in your life. Just a little shift, just a little shifts, little steps. I can believe that those small shifts can have massive transformation in your life.
I love what you just said, and we're going to do a quick breakaway, and we're going to come back, and we're going to package a little bit more about what that was a challenge and a call to action, that we were not meant to suffer and to just survive, but to thrive. And we're going to unpackage what that means and how can you find your place of thriving. We'll be back in just a moment. We are back with Pastor Tammy Meredith, and we are talking about walking out with a spiritual fitness plan in celebration of Women's History Month. And before the breakaway, we were talking about challenging yourself to realize that you weren't just meant to survive, but to thrive. And Pastor Tammy, I don't know why this is, but we hear the term misery loves company, but there's something that I find like in women in this sisterhood that we feel that there's power in the suffering, right? That we were meant to suffer. We were meant to carry this incredible burden,
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily so, right? Because, and for those that are watching, I'm going now from a biblical perspective. Christ said, my yoke is easy and your burden is light, right? So it's casting your cares. And what you have provided, what God is using you as, is this vehicle. This is my translation of what you're saying, for women who are in this place of uncertainty, of suffering, that now they can cast their burdens. They can turn to someone who has been there, who's walked this journey, who can help them guide and navigate, and realize that there is hope on the other side, right? That you don't have to just stay stuck.
Yes, yes, exactly, and that's exactly, you just put it in, just perfectly said. But yes, I believe that you don't have to stay stuck. I believe that you have the power. I believe that we have the power to move, from the place that we're in. No matter where we are. I believe in restoration. A lot of us go through losses. We've lost things. We've lost businesses. We've lost people. We've lost a part of ourselves along the way. But I believe that there's restoration, and I believe that the restoration lies in knowing our purpose. And I believe that we have to go back to the basics, and the basics is loving ourselves. And we can't love ourselves, I don't believe, until we love our creator, the one that created us. And then once we begin to understand him, understand his plan for my life, and I began to love me. I began to love the gifts that were placed inside of me, all these beautiful gifts. I don't have to look to anyone else or what other people are doing. I can focus on myself and be happy with who I am, happy with how he made me, not looking at society, or, not looking at society and other things, other people, but just focusing on just being grateful for who I am and learning to love myself, who he chose me to be, and be loving myself is knowing my gifts, tapping into those gifts, that those gifts begin to live again, and they're no longer dormant, because sometimes we don't even know our gifts. It's a part of our purpose. I don't believe that you can fulfill your purpose. I don't believe you can fulfill your purpose if you're not utilizing your gifts. I believe that you have to utilize everything that you have that's been packed inside of you, everything that you have, in order to fulfill your purpose in this earth. And I don't believe that you will be happy. I don't believe that there will be joy. I don't care how successful, we may appear, because I think I've walked the walk, and, people, said, looked at my life and said, oh my gosh, I wish I was her, and, but I was silently suffering, again, this didn't mask, but I really, until I started working in spiritual fitness, I began to tap into my purpose. And I realized that's what brought me joy. What brought me joy and defined success for me is tapping into my purpose and knowing that's why I'm here. It's like my spirit was screaming, what now? What's next? What there's more, there's more. And but when I began to tap into that purpose, of knowing who I am, why I'm here. That's a very important question. Why am I here, Lord? Knowing why I'm here, and then beginning to walk and take those proper steps again, to walk into that purpose, then it fulfills me in every way. And that's where my joy comes from. And I'm happy with myself. I love myself. You got to love yourself. You can't love anyone else until you love yourself. You can't be your best for anyone else. A job, a career, a business, a family. You can't be your best. You can't show up as your best until you really love yourself. Because when you love yourself, you can be content with who you are. And that's where that joy comes from. That's when you have that joy that's exuding out of you, and that love that's exuding out of you. And then people can get the very best version of you.
I love that. And I thank you for just your level of transparency. You can hear your emotions. You can feel your passion. And I think that is the beauty in life. Like you said, when you're in that place of knowing,
Mm-hmm.
no one can tell you otherwise. You're owning it unapologetically. This is Pastor Tammy, and you're doing it well. You're doing it with honor. You're doing it with grace. one of the things in business we talk about is your unique selling position. And when I was looking over your bio, what I found that just jumped out at me was you said that you have a 12 to 52 mindset.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Because typically when we talk about mindset, we're looking at it on a calendar standpoint. So 365. So what is a 12 to 52 mindset?
Okay. I believe all of my life, I've looked at everything, just I looked at the year, the 12 months, the 365 days. And what I realized, that's annualized thinking, okay, mindset. But I decided to move away from that, and I began to look at 12 weeks, okay, instead of 12 months. Me personally, when I every my goals, the vision that I have in my goals, with vision, and you have to have those goals, and with my goals, I felt that I had 12 months to complete, about just to complete 12 months, to complete them, but then I had to shift, because when you think along those terms, then you wait until the end, you wait until 8 months later, you feel that you have time. So I'm working on in a different way now, where I don't have time, and you end up using time that you could have used towards your goals. And you end up saying, well, I have goals, I have time for that. So I kind of shifted that even with the spiritual fitness. I said, no, we're gonna do this. We're gonna be intentional, and we're gonna make every day count. We're going to put our foot forward every day, and we're going to take steps every day. And so it's a 12, it's what you can do in 52 weeks, literally in 12 weeks. So we work intentionally, daily, and it's intensely as well. It's intensified within those 12 weeks, but we put everything into 12 weeks. And I've seen with so many women that I've been blessed to encounter, I've seen just an awakening happening like in week 2, week 3. It doesn't even take 12 weeks, but it's just making up your mind in the very beginning that this is what I need right now in my life, and being desperate, to move forward and to change and make those proper, just do the task, at hand to change. So that's what the 52 and 12 I believe in doing. I don't look at that's annualized thinking to me, just to me. And I've been doing well with the 52 and 12. That works best for me. Let's get it done. Let's start working. Let's not waste time. Okay. Let's be a good steward over our time, because God gives us so much time. But sometimes we're not a good steward because we feel like we have so much time. And I believe in doing what's prioritizing our lives and doing what's necessary right now, so that we can live the rest of our days, in a good way, in a best way, the way that God wants us to live it.
I like that. An actress by the name of Mae West stated that you often hear that life is short. She said, but if you live it right, you've had just enough time.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing is you're saying, okay, let's, like you said, we could take 52 weeks. We could take longer. We can take years, decades. But let's be intentional. Let's make a decision. Let's commit. Let's compress time, right? Because God is outside of time. Time is our constraint. Let's compress it and see what He does. Because when He's moving and guiding, and you're working in a compressed time, then there's such exponential growth. You're thinking, how did I go from this struggling, confused woman, like you said, in 2 and 3 weeks, you see radical transformation. But it started first with deciding, right? Before you can even move forward. You've got to decide, you have to commit, and you have to believe in you. And first and foremost, believe in God, believe in your higher power.
Yes, you have to believe in that. And I heard what you said earlier, for people who may not be Christians, you don't have to be a Christian. I believe that, your belief, you believe in, you do believe. Okay. I'm not sure in what your religion is, or if you even have a religion, but I believe that you have to believe in you. I believe in that. Now, me, I am a Christian. So of course I believe in Christ. Okay. But I do believe that you have to find that. You have to know, who created you, how was I created, and begin to understand that and begin to tap into that. Okay. I just believe that, but I believe there's something for all of us, here. I believe that no matter where we are, no matter who we are, no matter where we were born, no matter on this, just on the planet where we were born, I just believe that there's so much there. God has so much for each and every one of us. I believe that we all should be coming together. I believe in collaboration. I believe that we all can learn something from each other. I believe if we just come together and unite, and be in agreement, and in unison, with knowing and seeing greatness in each and every person, I believe that this world will be so much better. I believe that we can pour out into others. I'm very receptive. I've received from people, and I love receiving. I don't believe I can grow unless I receive. And I believe I can receive from everyone and anyone. I receive a little over here. I will receive over there. So I believe that we can just bring all of this together. And I believe that's how the kingdom looks, with all of us coming together, no matter who you are. I believe women, this is Women's Month. So I believe in women. I believe that there's a place for women in this world. I believe that God empowered us, amen, to be who he has created us to be. I don't believe that we're under or we're beneath. I believe that God has given us a place. And I believe we have to know our place. And I believe we have to begin, to take ownership, of who he has created us to be as women. Women are so powerful. We're nurturers, and that's not knocking men, okay? But women are so powerful. We're powerful together, though. We're so powerful together, and not separate. So I'm believing that when we begin to love ourselves, that competition and, all this other, just the things that's going on in the world, we can just pretty much just get rid of all of that if we just love ourselves. Because it's when you don't love yourself, when you're not happy with yourself, then you begin to compete with others. But when I know who I am, and when I know, the power that I have within me, and when I'm happy with me, then I can love you. I can celebrate you. We can celebrate each other, and we can build each other up, and just build each other up and pour into each other.
I love that. And you already answered my final question, which was, like you said, we're Women's History Month, and the theme is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And if you all didn't hear that she embraces diversity, equity, and inclusion, you missed it. Go back and listen to the replay. But that was very powerful, Pastor Tammy. I'm going to allow you to speak directly to the audience. We have about a couple minutes before we have to sign off, and I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. I'm so excited just to be speaking to you. I just want to encourage you, no matter where you are in life, no matter where you are now, no matter what's happened in your life, I want to encourage you to tap into your inner self. I want you to take the mask off today. I want you to look in the mirror, and I want you to define where are you? Where's the baseline? Where are you right now? And I want you to be honest with yourself. And I want you to know that no matter who you are, and you may have regrets, you may have guilt, things that you didn't do, and you wish you would have done, regrets. I want to let you know right now that everything in your life, okay, God can use it, that there is nothing wasted. I don't believe that there's anything wasted. I believe that we can use hurt. I believe that we can use our pain, our past pain. I can believe that we can use our past disappointments. I believe that we can use past losses. I believe that we can use past defeat and failures. I believe that we can use it. And that's just what I have done. I have literally looked at things over my life. I've lost 2 kids. I lost $1 million business, and that just took, I didn't even realize, what it did to me. But God came in and he restored me. And now what I'm doing, I'm using everything that I've lost, all the things that's happened in my life. I'm using them to pour into others and help others. So I encourage you to begin to go back to the beginning, and knowing who you are, whose you are is most important. And then who you are, and love who you are. Tap into your gifts. Find out what your purpose is, your God-given purpose. Why am I here? And when you begin to walk that purpose out, when you begin to tap into those gifts, they're going to begin to come alive. And when you start tapping into those gifts, you're going to start fulfilling the purpose of why you're here on this earth. And that's going to define exactly what success is for you. So I believe that you can overcome anything that you've been in, anything that's happened to you in your life, anything you're struggling with right now, anything you're going through right now, I'm believing that you can overcome it. I'm believing that you can be pulled out of that pit. I'm believing that restoration can come to your life. I'm believing that you can move to another level. I'm believing that you can move to another dimension. I'm believing that you can tap in to the very best you so that you can show up for real, not with a mask on, but you can show up, all right, in your authentic self, all right, and your best self that you can be able to pour into others. So thank you all again so much for just listening and being a part of this. I would love for you to be a part of my spiritual fitness classes. And also I have spiritual cleansing classes as well. I would love for you, our spiritual cleansing classes is where we go in and we do a 21-day fast, and we begin to go in and look at those things that's been rooted and begin to pull those roots up, amen, so that we can be our very best self. So I would love for you to be a part of that. Thank you.
This has been amazing, Pastor Tammy. Thank you so very much for just sharing your wisdom, your guidance with our viewing audience. I encourage you all. Her contact information is below. Reach out to learn more about how you can develop your spiritual fitness plan. And as she said, there's another step for spiritual cleansing, dealing with those limiting beliefs, those maybe even childhood traumas, pains that we've forgotten, that we've buried deep down inside, that are really preventing us from expanding and being the best that we are supposed to be. We were designed to occupy and to dominate the space that we're in. You want to show up big and bold and unapologetically, and Pastor Tammy can help you do just that. Pastor Tammy, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you on Choose to Challenge. Definitely want to have you back on for a full exclusive episode so we can sort of unpackage a little bit more about this amazing journey of spiritual fitness.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much, Miss LaWanna Bradford, for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. And to our listening audience, thank you so much for joining us for a special edition of Choose to Challenge, where we are celebrating Women's History Month. Remember, if we want to see the change that we want, we need to be the change that we want to see in the world. So embrace and celebrate this theme, this year's theme, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And find a woman today, whether she's your mother, your sister, your daughter, a friend. Lift her up. Let her know she matters. She's important. She's valued. And more importantly, she's seen and heard. Until next time. Bye, everyone.
I've been searching for a gold mine. Been digging for a long time, looking for a diamond of the rarest kind. Then one day I found a perfect treasure, a worth of impossible measure. I started to pray, then I heard you say you would forever be mine. I struck love. Now that I have found you, I struck love.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose to Challenge. I'm LaWanna Bradford here with my amazing guest, the dynamic Kelly Williams. How's it going, Kelly?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thank you for saying yes. I know you're bouncing from meeting to meeting.
Just like you are.
I know it's all good. It's all good. Well,
Yeah.
today we are going to be talking about how pageants, and when we're talking about pageants, beauty pageants are changing beauty standards. And I want to tell our audience a little bit about you. To those that are watching us on E360, thank you for following us, and Facebook and LinkedIn. We want to encourage you to lean in because this is going to be a pretty provocative conversation. Kelly Williams is oh my God, her background is so diverse from politics to beauty to social
Crazy.
media personality, TV host. She's doing it all. But she spent 11 years as a council member for the city of Kama, Texas, including 2 years of mayor pro tem. She is a former Mrs. Galveston County and first runner up for Mrs. Texas. She is a professional singer. Told you she does it all. She's a director of Bay Area Houston Magazine, and she is the official recruiter for Miss Texas USA and Miss Texas Teen USA. And she has a TV show called The Kelly Williams Show. So welcome again.
Thank you. So nice. Thank you very much.
Well, this month we're in Women's History Month, and the theme is Women Who Advocate for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And one of the things when we're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion is really to assess where our blind spots lie. And do we have some preconceived biases and perceptions as it relates to certain industries? And I would say for the beauty industry, the answer is definitely yes, we do.
Yes.
Right?
Unfortunately, yes.
So I want you to get your thoughts on this. So I did just a little homework. I mean, there's so many beauty pageants, but I narrowed it down. I said, let's focus on the oldest one here in the U.S., which is Miss America.
That's right.
And so 103 years. I did not realize it was that.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So 103
amazing.
years, 1921. And this was surprising, and maybe not so surprising. Of all the women who've won in 103 years, only 11 have been women of color.
Yeah.
8 African American, 1 Hispanic, 1 Asian, and 1 Native American.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
So let's talk about that, because we know, Kelly, that when you have institutions that are constructed by certain groups of people with beliefs and so forth, you tend to develop things that benefit you or look like you, right?
Oh, of course. And I think that's just the way human nature is sometimes. You know, maybe not that people are doing it on purpose. It's just kind of how human nature tends to be. So yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. This shocked me. And maybe you've heard about it because you've been in the industry a long time. So this is sort of the behind the scenes things that we don't necessarily hear.
Yeah.
And we know in this country, we know the history of this country from the indigenous populations, the unfortunate things that happen with Asians, African Americans. We know that. What I didn't know was in the 1923 Miss America pageant, they actually had a show production, showcasing slaves.
Oh, wow.
So it was like the show was kind of about sort of celebrating that.
Wow.
And
see, and I've never been part of the Miss America system. So I really don't know, honestly, much about the history of the Miss America pageant. So things you're telling me are completely, I have no clue. And I had no clue that that was even part of it. And, you know, I think that, thinking about that, I mean, it's sad to think that, that they would have, celebrated things like that, and especially put it included in a pageant, arena, but unfortunately, if people look at history of the world, different countries have been doing horrible, amazing, bizarre things for hundreds and hundreds of years. And, the grateful thing is that the United States actually has gone the other way and fixed a lot of these things that they were doing wrong. Where some countries still have slavery, they still do these things, and I'm very grateful. And I don't know how, I don't know how many years the America system did that. It's bizarre to me, honestly. I've never heard of such a thing. But they've, of course, ended up having Black Miss Americas. So at some point it all, fixed itself, or somebody goes, okay, this is nuts. We need to fix it. And it seems like it has been, going really trending the right way, actually, for at least, 60, 70 years that I can kind of look back. Like I said, I'm not involved with the America system, but, in fact, I literally, I get to interview a lot of these pageant girls who are competing. And I actually had the huge blessing of interviewing our little Miss Texas America, who is a young little Black girl. Amazing. And she literally got first runner up at Miss America this last year. And she's incredible. And so, I've always been somebody, LaWanna, and I'm sure you are like that. I don't look at color. I don't. So to me, I look at who the person is. And I think, and I would hope that most people, that's what most people do, and see what's wonderful about those people, about them. It doesn't matter the color.
Right. And I think that's what's so important. Those of us who have platforms such as this, that if we're looking to help change the narrative, we have to be willing to have some of those unpopular conversations.
Yeah.
And we know people are going to be people.
Absolutely.
But I think that in the root of everyone, I believe that there is truly goodness and good intent. In some cases, I get it. There could be malicious things that happen. But as you said, it's trending. Yes. Obviously, representation isn't what we want, but that's across the board. It's not just in pageantry, but it's better than before. And I want to just tell the audience, when you lean in, even though I said only 11 have won, that doesn't mean only 11 participated.
Oh, no. It's, and if you look at the Miss USA system, how many women of color have won Miss USA or Miss Universe? I mean, you're talking, this is, it's huge. But I'm hoping that it's not just, they're not just trying to trend a certain way. I guess because I've never looked at colors, never mattered to me. So I have friends of all races, all, religion. I mean, that's just how I've grown up, and that's how my life is, my world is. And so I'm hoping that it's not just some trend, that it's trending for women of color. I'm hoping that because I'm sure these young women want to know that they are being crowned because of who they are, not because of what they look like. They've worked very hard to get where they are, no matter what color they are. So yes, I agree with you. I think it's wonderful that we are showing these younger generations. It doesn't matter what you look like. You can do anything you want as long as you're willing to work hard for it. And I think that is what these pageant systems are really doing for young women. So I like that.
We're going to take a quick pause and come right back and unpackage that just a little bit more.
We will win, we will win in the end. We will win in the end. We can lose, we can lose. We can lose if we choose. We will win.
You know what you said as far as the trending.
Yeah.
You said when you look at Miss Universe. Well, that's the world, right? That's
Exactly.
the
And you know,
world.
but you know, yeah, and exactly. And then I realized when I said Miss Universe, of course, there's mainly going to be women of color winning, which is,
Exactly.
you know,
Yes.
but the USA system, which is intact with it, which is part of the Miss Universe system. So that's why I kind of said that.
Yes.
But Miss USA, you know, Miss America, I mean, it's wonderful to me to see that it's very different from even 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Well,
LaWanna, I think
yeah.
really quickly, I want to tell you why I think that is. Because guess what has happened with, you know, and you said something earlier. You said just because only 11 have won in the America system, Miss America, that's not how many have competed. And I love that because that is actually so correct. There's so many young women of color more competing now in the
Yes.
past 15, 20 years than there was. I mean, you didn't see it. It wasn't that they weren't allowed. They just, there wasn't a lot. There maybe have been one or two, you know, even in bigger local pageants, but it's absolutely wonderful to see what has been happening. I'm just so proud of all of these young women.
Yes. In fact, I have a women's community called Celebrate You, Embracing Her Wellness. And two women, one is Asian American, the other is African American. They both competed in the Mrs. America contest.
Yes.
One was representing New Jersey and the other Florida.
Yeah.
And that was just so exciting to see. Again, we're talking about beauty stigmas, right?
Yes.
Whether it's your skin color, whether it's your hair, whether it's age,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So they were able to stand up. Here they are, women in their 60s saying, I'm here. Look at me. Right?
Exactly. My very first pageant was Mrs. Texas, and I was 39. So I applaud these women because that's who I competed with, women of all ages from 21 to 60. And so I love that, you know, I think that women, especially older women, kind of we're all getting where, no, you don't worry about winning by things. And that's what we want to teach these younger women. Do
Right.
not worry about what somebody else thinks or what they tell you you can or cannot do.
Exactly.
You work hard enough.
That's so important because, you know, the body shaming,
Yes.
just being self-conscious about being in your skin. And when you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I love me.
Yes.
I just love me. Then you show up very differently in the world. But if you're always comparing, especially with, you know, with social media and everything that we can do now with filters and
it's just
AI, it's scary.
It's awful. It is scary. It's very scary. And, you know, LaWanna, one thing, I've been a director for local pageants for the USA system for 12 years. You know, one thing that I tell when we have opening day, when I meet all of these contestants and all of these young ladies from different walks of life and all body shapes and all sizes, one thing I always tell them is anybody can win. We're celebrating you. It's celebrating who you are and what is amazing about you. And what makes you different is what makes you awesome. And because you want these young women to know, don't look at the girl next to you and wish you looked like her. God made you the way you look for a reason. There's special things about you, you know? And so that's what we're, you know, that's what, like what you're doing. I mean, that's what we're hoping these younger generations are learning from us.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And you know, like you said, the traditional standards, right, of what was required. You know, you have to be this body type and, you know, this height. And that's going away.
Yes,
I can't
is.
remember what pageant I saw, but one of the beautiful ladies was rocking a bald head.
Yes.
And I thought, wow.
Absolutely. It's amazing. I mean, that has become, I mean, it doesn't, you see all kinds of things. It's really amazing. And I love it. I just love it, you know? So yeah, it's incredible.
And I think the beauty in it is people now can identify, right? It's
Yeah.
not this cookie cutter.
Absolutely.
Even when I was watching this documentary on flight attendants. In the day they were called stewardesses. Did you see that documentary?
No, but I've heard about it. But one of my very best friends is
standard, right? They have
still call her stewardess, and that's
but
obviously,
they all had to look a certain way.
Oh yes,
they had to be a certain size, and
yes,
wow,
a certain weight.
Yes,
they used to get weighed in before they went to work.
Yes, they did.
And that's crazy. I wouldn't have made it. Sorry, I just ate dessert last night. I'm off. I'm out.
But the interesting thing is so originally when they wanted to get more people to fly, they said, well, we need to make the passengers feel comfortable. So they said, well, we'll have men.
Yes.
But then they said, well, no, that's not the touch we need.
Yeah.
Let's have women. Let's have them be beautiful women.
Yeah.
So again, we understand why things are the way they were the way they were.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Because I remember when I was probably, my father was military. So when we came back, we traveled back and forth from Italy to the US.
Wow.
I remember the very first time I saw a Black flight attendant.
Yeah.
And she was gorgeous. I mean, she just,
this
beautiful, natural hair, tall, again, fitting the stereotype, right? The Barbie.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
And I just thought, I want to look like that. I remember as a child thinking that because I thought, okay, that's what beauty, you have to be at least 5'6", 5'7". I'm not. You have
I'm going, I'm out already.
Yeah, 120 pounds, not me.
No, I'd have been fired. I wouldn't even have been hired, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so true. And you're so right. And I think that, it's the normal brain because, some people that's why I think people or brands use so many different kind of faces and bodies and things. It's because there's so many, not everybody thinks something is attractive. That's what's interesting. Right. I'll hear people go, she's way too skinny. I couldn't marry or date anybody like that. I mean, it's really interesting. So, and then so other people going, oh my gosh, she's perfect. Okay. Well, that's not their taste. Everybody's taste is different. And in your mind, she was in this amazing, awesome job. I mean, how cool is a flight attendant? I'm sorry. That's really great. And here she is, she's stunning because of course they usually are, they're amazing. And so of course, I don't even think you would have had to be a young Black girl. I think I'd have gone, oh my gosh, I want to be her. I mean, I think it's whatever we are looking at and what portrays that in our mind, and how exciting though, when you got to see her.
And I think also it wasn't just her physical, it was her presence.
Absolutely.
And if you think about, even today, if you think about your flight attendants, there's a presence about them. I don't know if that's part of their training. I don't care what shape they are. There's a certain presence.
I totally agree with you. I think it's, it's gotten more and more that way actually, because I think they had to do away with most of those, height standards and all of that. I don't have it. Now, some airlines probably, foreign airlines still have that, I think. But, in America, anybody can try to get those jobs. So, I think that is part of their interviewing and seeing how they connect and if they would be a good fit for that company. Yeah,
I love what you just said. So it's, again, looking at those other competencies that we have and to those that are watching, if you have young girls, your daughters, your nieces, maybe it's your sister that's starting to feel a little self-conscious and wondering, how do I fit in? Or perhaps she's being bullied or body shamed.
Yeah.
Let's find community. That is so important, because going back to, I'm going to just, so now this is Miss USA, Chelsea Christ,
Yeah.
who committed suicide.
It's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking, gorgeous, very well
Amazing.
accomplished woman, but something wasn't right. Something
Yeah.
was dark in her soul. And we're not going to know everything about everyone, but just imagine that young girl who doesn't fit whatever the standard is. Maybe she's a little bit overweight.
Yeah.
Maybe she wasn't invited to prom.
Yeah.
That's just an experience. That's not who you are.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. And I love how you put it like that. That's an experience. It's not who you are. And I think that, Chelsea, it was just heartbreaking. I was actually there when she was crowned. I was at that Miss USA.
Oh, wow.
And I just loved her is when I saw her. I loved her. I mean, she was one of those people you went, oh, she's got a good chance. It was just how she was. She had this amazing presence and gorgeous, but precious all at the same time. I think that people, when they see things like this, they think that it may hopefully help somebody go, it doesn't matter what you look like or what you've accomplished. Everybody's going through something.
Yes.
Everybody. It's not just me going through something. That precious young lady was going through something that, that made her take her own life. And it's awful and heartbreaking. But you want these, other generations or anybody saying, okay, look who that Miss, USA. I mean, so, and she still was having issues. So, and problems and things that she felt like she couldn't solve. So, I think that we have to take those things and look at those things and try to use them as a help for anybody, else maybe going through something, like you said, struggling, bullying, whatever it is, because it's just, those things happen and it's heartbreaking, and it doesn't matter who you are,
This month's theme, when it's diversity, equity, and inclusion, I wish they had put the other piece on it, which is belonging.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's about, I have to feel that I'm a part of you. You can say I'm at the table, but if you don't give me a voice, do I really belong? Yeah. Or you can say, oh, yes, you're part of us, but yet you don't invite me out because I'm not dressed like you. I don't wear my hair like you. So if we can get to the point, and I'd like you to talk about this, where we can celebrate each other just for being, right? I'm me, you're you.
Absolutely.
Connect there.
Yeah.
Then I think we're going to see some radical changes in the world.
Oh, I'm telling you. I mean, you nailed it on the head. I think that, one of the best things in life, really, that God can give us is having that open mind and open heart to meet others that are different and see what's amazing about them and appreciate them and celebrate other people and make sure that that they're cared about. I mean, and just like what you said, there's so many, times in all of our lives where we just feel like, I don't belong here. I'm sad. I don't know why they don't like me. They're not, whatever it is, we've all been there. It doesn't matter who you are. And, but it's okay because, there's always ways to remember that that we all go through it, and remember that somebody else is going through it, and make sure that you give them a hug, tell them, ask them how they are, and let them be a part of your life and be a part of their life.
Yes, I totally agree. We've got a few more minutes, and I like to share with the audience at times how I meet my guests. And I had the opportunity to meet you at Super Bowl Media Week. on Radio Row, and we sat down for a little conversation on your
Yeah.
show. And I want to just show your intro clip to your show, and we can talk a little bit about what you're doing and what your objective is with the Kelly Williams Show. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah. Hey, everybody. It's time to tune in and turn on your happy. You're watching The Kelly Williams Show. Don't forget, you can watch it anytime on the best network ever, Your Home TV. And you can also stream it live on Roku. So get ready, because it's time for The Kelly Williams Show. It makes me happy when I see it.
Yeah, you're definitely having fun.
I do. I love it. I have fun.
So it was a pleasure to meet you, and sitting next to you just for that short time, you were so infectious that I thought, okay, I want to connect beyond this moment.
Absolutely. I just adore you. I mean, I remember thinking, I wish I could sit here with her an hour just talking, because when I got to meet you, I was on a time limit.
Yes.
And you had another meeting. I had another meeting. So we had a very short time, but I go, my gosh, I love this woman. I just, I think what you're doing is amazing. And I just felt this wonderful connection with you as well. So I was so honored and excited to get to be on your show.
Yes. So the Kelly Williams Show, obviously it's about happiness. It's about fun. You're touching cultures and just showing this lived experience.
Yes.
At the end of the day, what do you hope the legacy will be with the Kelly Williams Show?
LaWanna, it's a really good question.
I went deep on you.
I think that every time I do a show or an interview, I want to make sure that my audience is feeling what I'm feeling with these people I'm talking to and telling stories. And I'm hoping that it'll make them happier, that they'll be informed about something, that it may help them, that, there's so much seriousness in life. And it doesn't mean that some of my shows aren't serious, but I want them to be different and fun and something that anybody could watch at any time. And it just makes them a little bit happier. And if it helps them with something that they're going through, or they needed that information, or they need to meet this person or buy their book or watch your, call you for your services, that is what makes me very happy. I'm hoping that my legacy will be that I made a difference in people's lives a little bit, just a little bit. I'd be really happy, and I brought some joy to people. So.
And that's huge. And I know you're doing it. And I always tell people, when you change one life, you've changed the next generation, because that's a mindset change, right? How they show up.
Yes.
It's huge.
Oh, it is huge. You're exactly right. And I think we all try to, I think this younger generation, because it's such an Instagram, it's such a Instagram instant. I need it now. I need to do this now. Yes. I think we need to be teaching these younger generations, it's okay to take your time and do things well and make a difference and do things that make a difference for other people. Don't just serve yourself.
Yes.
That's what makes the world better. If we're all doing a little bit of that, I think we make the world a better place,
I totally agree. What I like to do is take myself down and give my guest a moment to have that intimate 2 to 3 minute chat with the audience. And I want you to speak to that young girl or young woman who might be struggling with the standard, right? And how she can show up. And I'll let you take it away, if that's okay.
All right. Okay, everybody. So if you are watching this, and it really honestly doesn't matter how old you are, because we all struggle with things. But if you're especially a younger woman or younger young lady, and you are struggling with your self-confidence, with wondering where you fit in, trying to figure out even what your talents are, or how you can make a difference in the world or just in your day-to-day life, it's okay, because we all do it. We've all done it. We're still doing it. We're all still learning about ourselves. We're all still fighting a good fight every day, trying to be good people, kind to others, and focus on, being productive and successful, whatever that means to you, in our own different way. But don't ever look at other people and wish you had their lives, or wish you looked like them, or wish you were, doing what they were doing. God made you just the way you are for a reason. And sometimes it's hard for us to know what that reason is. And that's okay, because it's something that people struggle with their entire lives. But what you want to do every day and try to do every day is you get up, have a positive attitude, work as hard as you can, no matter what you are doing in life, whether it's school, work, helping others, whatever it is. And then always try to do something kind for others, because when you do something kind for others and you focus on the positives in your life, no matter how hard it is, we all know that's hard sometimes, but it's very important. Then you start realizing that there's other people that need things, attention, food, necessities, clothing, whatever it is. I mean, more than you do. There are people out there that need you to give them a hug, to give them some confidence, to give them a helping hand. And I think that when you learn that when you're giving back or helping others, instead of always feel like you're helping yourself, I think that's a really, really big deal. And I think it brings you more happiness in life, than always trying to feel like you have to be perfect. No one's perfect. I know it's a shocker, because, everybody looks perfect on Instagram or Facebook, whatever you're on, or Snapchat, all these things. Nobody's perfect, and everybody has their own issues. But it's about being happy with who you are. God made you awesome. Use that. Go do big things every single day, and always remember to be kind to others. Hope that helps.
I love that. Always remember to be kind to others.
Yeah.
Wow, Kelly, this has been amazing. Thank you again for saying yes and being an amazing guest on Choose to Challenge. I look forward to doing more great things with you. I'm just speaking it into existence.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I love what you're doing. I'm honored to have been on your show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And to our listening audience, we look forward to seeing you next week for another edition of Choose to Challenge. And just remember, in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, when you can rise up and celebrate the beauty that is you and that is in you, success is inevitable. Until next week. Goodbye, everyone.